All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's market debrief. We'll start with the U.S. market, the S&P 500 index. We are seeing that the S&P 500 index has been inching up for the past 1 week. So right now it is testing its so-called all-time high price. Okay, it's still like waiting for catalyst to break up. Okay, so we do not know what it's going to be. All right, so probably I will show you what could be the possible catalyst for the not just for US market but for the global market. All right, so we are looking at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq also is doing a similar pattern. Okay, testing below this all-time high resistance point. Okay, and for the Dow Jones Industrial Average is also doing a similar thing. Okay, so overall the US market is still a very strong market. Overall it's still doing on the uptrend. Okay, so this I've already mentioned for over the past few months. The US market is on a very strong uptrend. You can see the 20-day, 50-day, and the 200-day moving average, right? They are moving in a parallel fashion upwards. Okay, so expect more to be coming as the so-called unlimited QE printing is doing its work. Okay, the Federal Reserve balance sheet, okay, their so-called unlimited QE, they have been still continuously printing, and you can see from the last 2 weeks is making all-time high. All right, you can see their assets held under their Federal Reserve is continuing to grow higher. So with more and more bonds under their assets, they are basically printing more money and issuing it to banks, getting the banks to lend out to companies, businesses, funds, fund managers, and such. All right, so the whole market is flooded with cash, and this will also translate to the global markets. Okay, so this is what is happening for unlimited QE, money printing, and it just sends so-called asset prices higher. Okay, so if we look at some of the commodity stocks, I've mentioned about commodity being the last run. Okay, this is palladium. Okay, palladium recently has broke out of its previous all-time high, so it's now making a new all-time high prices. Okay, you can see that platinum. Okay, platinum had a recent rally beginning of the year, and now it's consolidating. All right, so it might also move up probably soon. Okay, the silver has been consolidating for a very long time, in line with the gold market also. But silver seems like it's also getting quieter, and it seems like it might move off anytime soon also. All right, and some of the other commodities, you have your sugar future. After this deep pullback is rallying it back up again. Your crude palm oil prices is still on an uptrend. Despite some pullback, it's still moving upwards. Okay, crude oil, there isn't much of a movement. Okay, though it's still in a consolidation, but it's still an uptrend. Okay, your wheat prices, recently there's some rally in the wheat prices, corn prices. There's also a lot of the commodity stocks are running up. All right, so this is also because of as it's not really like prices goes up, but the value of the US dollar is going down. Okay, as I've mentioned before, or I've shown before, using the so-called dollar index. Okay, so you can see the dollar index. Dollar index basically weighs the US dollar's strength against a basket of 6 other foreign currency. And you can see the US dollar has been going down over the past 1 year or so. All right, so this is what is happening. Now for our Asia market, as I mentioned, Hang Seng seems to be like waking up. Okay, it's like same like US, waiting for catalyst to push them higher. And we have our China market similarly also doing sideways movement, waiting for catalyst for it to break higher. Mainly the breaking this high here of about 3,500 points for the Shanghai Composite Index. Okay, so yeah, most of the market are waiting for something to happen, all right, which later I will show what is the possible thing. Okay, Straits Times Index also similarly is testing its all-time high. Oh, sorry, not all-time high, like it's a 1-year high price. Okay, so same thing. Mainly is being held up by the banks, some of the stronger STI component stocks. Okay, so let's go through some of the stocks for last week. What do we have? Okay, last week I've talked about Valuetronics. Okay, so Valuetronics basically it had rallied, okay, for 2 days. Okay, UMS similarly it has already broken out and make new high. Okay, that's why I've mentioned this is a very nice cup and handle pattern with this pullback and this hammer doing. There's upside to go. So the past 2 days it has been going up together with Valuetronics. And the third one I mentioned is Venture, but Venture didn't really move much. Okay, there's some movement here for a few days, and then today there's a gap down. So not too sure what's the reason for the weakness in that. Okay, and I've mentioned about SATS, SATS and SIA. The selling is ending. Okay, there's most likely going to be a rebound. So short-term traders can do some intraday trade, 1-2 days trade. So there is a rally yesterday in which you could have taken your profit. SIA similarly, I also mentioned on this day that is the end of the selling already. Be prepared for a rebound, and there's a 2 days of rebound. Before today's sell down or so-called profit taking. Right, MedTech, Top Glove I've mentioned like 2 weeks ago. Okay, on this day, 14 April, I mentioned about MedTech. There's some strength in the PPE manufacturers. The whole group, Riverstone, MedTech, Top Glove. Okay, and the next day it started to rally, and then it continued to rally for a second week, which I've mentioned that the target area of where it should hit is about 114. Okay, so it hit 115, and it has a 2 days of pullback. Okay, so most likely it's going to rest for a few more days, and then we can reassess again. So some of the stocks that did not really move is Wilmar. Okay, in fact it gapped down. Okay, and the main reason for it to gap down is because of ex-dividend. Okay, so this is mainly the dividend that they give. So if we were to adjust for dividend, taking out the dividends, right, the price basically is still hovering, is still forming a very nice consolidation pattern, and this trend line has not broken yet. As compared to the previous, whereby we did not adjust for the dividend. Okay, so overall Wilmar is still okay. All right, we just have to wait for some catalyst to happen. Maybe more money printing also. Okay, so what is the probable catalyst that might happen? It's basically this Joe Biden wants to spend $2 trillion on infrastructure and jobs. Okay, so let's take a look at the breakdown of what is he going to spend. Okay, why I bring this up is because in a week or so it will be the end of the first 100 days of Biden's presidency. Okay, so usually president within the first 100 days they want to come up with a detailed plan for the next 4 years of their presidency. They want to have major spending and deal with and prop up the economy, to show that they are doing their work. So last time Trump within the first 100 days he make it a war on China and fighting for the so-called 5G dominance. So we see a surge in tech companies. Alright, so in Biden's case, he's going for this $2 trillion plan, and it's spread out between infrastructure, transportation, clean energy, research and research and in so-called research. Alright, so the big bulk of it is in transportation infrastructure, your roads, your railroads, clean energy, autonomous vehicle, electric vehicle kind of stuff. Okay, so EV stations also, $174 billion, is a very big amount being set aside. You can see, Amtrak railroad infrastructures and such. Okay, you can go and Google Biden's 2 trillion plan under USA Today. All right, so they're going to retrofit homes, commercial houses, properties, schools, and such. So the main thing, if you can see through here, right, is that their biggest spending is more on infrastructure, clean energy, electric vehicle. Okay, so that is like the theme for the next 4 years for Joe Biden, and $2 trillion is a huge amount of money. Okay, so if we were to take a look at some of the shares, if you want to look at so-called clean energy, okay, if you want to be on the right for this, hopefully they pass the bill and write this so-called US spending on clean energy and electric vehicle, right, you can consider this iShare Global Clean Energy ETF. All right, so what they have is basically they invest in all these companies that deals in clean energy, solar energy, fan energy, whatever, okay, battery making and such. Okay, so that is for clean energy ETF. The other one is so-called self-driving autonomous electric vehicle and tech ETF. Okay, so what we have here is mainly the Alphabet, Tesla, Samsung, Nvidia, Intel, Apple, all those that deals in electric vehicle, their chip making and such. Okay, so if we were to take a look at those ETF, okay, this ETF is quite strong. Okay, and as you can see, as Biden is so-called like leading, and when he was finally declared president somewhere here mid-November, 16th of November or something. Okay, you can see the whole autonomous EV ETF rallied, okay, tremendously. All right, so currently it's being so-called resting because there is still no concrete plan. He has not he has detailed the bill, but the Congress has not passed the bill yet. So the market is waiting for this, all right, to happen. Okay, so this is a DRIV for autonomous and electric vehicle ETF. The other one is the clean energy ICLN by iShare. iShare is under BlackRock. Okay, so similarly, you can see mid-November, after the president was elected, it basically break up. Okay, so currently it's just trading above its so-called presidency announcement kind of price, around 24. Okay, and looking at this pattern, is quite similar to so-called the China, so-called the Vanguard China ETF. Okay, so you can see this is the China Vanguard ETF is quite a similar pattern. All right, and like I said, they are all waiting for some sort of a catalyst, a news to move the market. Okay, so I mean, if you do not want to invest in the US, because you are scared of the US dollar dropping in value or such, you can also invest in Hong Kong, but Hong Kong dollars is still also pegged with the US dollar. So some of the tech companies are mainly also in the Hang Seng Tech, 3067. Okay, so this is iShare Hang Seng Tech. So after similar pattern with the so-called clean energy ETF, there's a big drop. Okay, and it's been consolidating sideways, so it's been inching on the high side, so it's like looking for a catalyst to break up or to reverse back up or carry on its rally. Alright, so we just have to be patient, waiting for the next few days whether the Congress will pass this so-called Joe Biden infrastructure bill. Okay, so those are, if you don't want to pick stocks, those are the ETF that you can look to gain exposure in. Alright, so what are the companies that we can look at for our local companies? Samarine, okay, I heard that they had some contract wins, that deals with clean energy also. Okay, it seems like the team. I mean, if we look at Singapore, okay, just to sidetrack a bit, Singapore came out with the budget in February. Alright, and you can see that the main bulk, so-called $11 billion, right? The main bulk of it is coming from this 870 million in the aviation sector, GSS extension, which means it also covers the aviation sector and other GLC company. Alright, so the main bulk of it is in here, and in healthcare, 5.4 billion. There's a so-called healthcare package to reopen the economy, which is also the bulk of it. Okay, and that's why you can see in the past 2 months, right? You have your medical stocks, your Thomson Medical, Raffles Medical that run. You know, some of your then you have your aviation sector, your SIA run, your SATS run, SIA Engineering, and also a lot of this, like the budget and all that, will give clues to what stocks to look at. You know. So this is Sembcorp Marine. Today had a rally. Okay, so we are just riding on a early momentum, starting in the late March, right? We are riding on this momentum, okay, for it to carry on the next leg up here. Alright, so it tends to be so what is the projected return? Let's see, possibly targeting somewhere about 27 cents, 27 half. Okay, it might happen the next couple of days. Okay, so you can watch for those short-term trader. Not too sure what is happening with this. Last time, remember, they had some bad news. You know, something happened with the company or something. Can't remember what is it. Okay, so recently there's some rally, you know, and then it's inching back up again. So you should start to watch out for this. You know, it might have some burst move 1 or 2 day. Okay, so this is mainly for intraday traders or short-term contra traders. This is Inda Infocom. Last I mentioned is when somewhere here 31st March or 1st of April, somewhere here, as I mentioned, that if it starts to inch on the high side, right, you can buy this, you know, on a short-term basis. So yes, inch up to its recent high about 15 cents. Okay, looks like a nice pattern for intraday trade or contra trade. Okay, from here. What other stocks, so-called big cap stocks that we can invest or trade? This is Tencent. Okay, as I mentioned, this is it has similar pattern what I previously mentioned about the Vanguard China and clean energy. And on top of that, I think their news are coming out that they have already applied for IPO for We Doctor. Okay, similar to Ali Health and JD Health and all the other so-called telemedicine companies. Okay, so Tencent is coming out. Their We Doctor is going to IPO, planning the IPO. News is already out, already submitted the application. Okay, so similarly, Tencent is also waiting for a catalyst, you know, to rally or move upwards. Okay, Ascender Street, there's a rally today. Okay, it finally broke off from this downtrend line that I've mentioned previously. You know, that it has to break above and stay above for like 1 or 2 weeks. So this is a nice sign, okay, that they might turn back up. You know, okay, so you can consider investing in Ascender Street, giving about 4.7% yield. Okay, Keppel DC REIT. You can see I've set my alarm here about 260, you know, waiting for it to come down so that I can maybe buy or something, but it is like inching upwards. Okay, and there's a news today that they have a so-called joint investment in a SPV, okay, with M1, and you know M1 is now under Keppel Corp. Alright, so they are coming up with a SPV to host M1 networks asset. So it's very similar to the other company by Singtel, Netlink Trust. Netlink Trust. Netlink Trust was a network asset being so-called divested by Singtel. Okay, so this Capital DC and M1 is also coming out with one on their own, and Capital DC is going to be managing that. Alright, so that's the news that came out today. You can check on that. Capital Land China Trust, it's been trading sideways for a very long time after this so-called pullback. Alright, so it's getting quiet, volume is getting low. Very likely that it might start to turn back up soon. Okay, so you can watch on this, or you can probably buy a bit on this to invest. Okay, so I've explained before, CRCT, they has changed their investment mandate to encompass all investment properties. Okay, all types, industrial, commercial, retail, everything. Okay, so a lot, and there are a lot of properties. I think 60 over properties under Capital Land, which I know it will be in the pipeline for them to divest to CRCT. So CRCT in the years to come is going to grow quite big. Alright, so you can watch on this. And there are some movement happen. Okay, I've more early morning I've messaged about this. Okay, Maple Commercial Trust, morning I've shared about the news. They came out with good news. They increased their distribution per unit. Okay, most likely they are going back to pre-COVID days. So previously was like 2+%, but with the new announcement now they're back to like 4+% dividend yield. Alright, so that's why there is a huge surge or rally today. Okay, basically on the news. So most likely is they are going to retest back their previous high here, and then if it breaks that, it will carry on to its pre-COVID price, about 240 area. Okay, so there's still some I think there is still some more upside for Maple Commercial. Manulife REIT, okay, today has a rally, and but mainly is testing this so-called downtrend line. Okay, so if the next day we're able to break through, right, that will be a good thing. Alright, it might start to turn trend from here. Okay, and some of the stocks to probably look at for some trading. This is SGX. Okay, it has a very nice rally. Okay, last week, 2 weeks ago, and last week is basically been consolidating sideways. It's like a so-called ascending flat pattern. Alright, so we are looking for it to break above this 1062 area, and it might do another run like 2 weeks ago in the middle of April. Okay, so you can watch for SGX. And a new IPO stock. Previously I talked about NanoFilm running. So this is another new IPO stocks which I think might run. Okay, so this one it IPO came down and it rallied. Okay, like about 50%. Okay, so it have been consolidating and resting for the past 3 months. Alright, so it has been doing quite a nice rounding pattern here. Nice base. Alright, so from here it might start to do a rally if it break its high here about 135.